Most cases nowadays are solved by DNA evidence, sure investigation, and evidence of the crime. Well, today, this crime was actually solved by a psychic, more or less. Today, we're going to go over the Hillside Strangler.
We here at Angry Me Production want to thank our sponsor, Mobile Notary Mindy. She's certified with the National Notary Association. She's also bonded and E&O insured. She offers a wide range of services including wills, powers of attorney, medical documents, healthcare proxies, living wills, certification of trust, assignment of personal property, HIPAA waivers, advanced healthcare directives, and 99 verification. You can find her on Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram at Mobile Notary Mindy. You can also visit her webpage at TexasMobileNotaryMindy.com. That's TX, MobileNotaryMindy.com. Thank you so much, and enjoy the show.
Ladies and gentlemen of all ages, boys and girls, thank you for tuning in to yet another episode of Angry Me Production. We appreciate you coming in and letting us be a part of your lives, week in and week out. We hope to do our best to present you with something that your eardrums delight in. Whether you're looking at us on YouTube or Rumble, or listening to us on Spotify, Google, or Anchor, or any of the other podcast services that we are currently on or trying to get on, we thank you. And if you don't mind, at the end of every episode, stop by, leave us a comment, leave us a like. If it asks for 5 stars, we'll take 5 stars, even if you don't like us. 5 stars are what it's all about. With that being said, we hope you enjoy our attempt to make our advocation our vocation. Ladies and gentlemen, let the games begin.
Welcome, Angry Faithful. Yes, today, like I said in the beginning of the intro, and this was, I want to go technically, it was solved by a psychic, but it was pretty much serving ham from what I was reading. But I digress. Let us begin. 1976, Kenneth Blanchie left Rochester, New York to move to Los Angeles, California, to be with his cousin, Angelo Bruno. Bruno providing a strong role model for the docile Blanchie. While Blanchie was short of money, Bruno came up with an idea of getting some girls to work for them as prostitutes. The two teenage runaways, Sarah Hannah and Becky Spears, met Blanchie and Bruno. And once under their control, they were forced into prostitution themselves. Eventually, Spears happened to meet lawyer David Wood, who was appealed to her situation as arranged for her to escape from the city. Encouraged by Spears to escape, Hannah ran away from Blanchie and Bruno a short time later. With their pimping income gone, they decided to find more teenage girls. Impersonating 2 police officers, they eventually found another young woman and installed her into a previous girl's bathroom. Initially, they purchased from a prostitute named Deborah Noble a substance trick list with names of men who frequent prostitutes. Noble and our friend, Yolanda Washington, delivered the trick list to Bruno on October 1977. Now, the first victim was Yolanda Washington, was 19-year-old prostitute. She was always working on a certain stretch of the Sunset Boulevard. Her naked body was found on October 18, 1977, on a hillside near Ventura Freeway. Detectives determined that the corpse was clean before being dumped, with faint marks where also visible around a neck, wrist, and ankle signs of rope being used. The victim was been assaulted, essayed, which that's what we have to say now, and strangled. Judith Miller, on November 1st, 1977, police were called to Terrace Drive and Lucinta, a neighboring 12 miles of downtown Los Angeles, where the body of a teenager was found naked, face up in the parkway in a middle-class residence area. Mind you, if pause during reading this and everything, I wrote this as it's supposed to be, and I didn't really change much on how it's supposed to be sensitive for other platforms. So sorry if I pause way too much on this sometimes. But where the body of the teenager was found naked, face down in the parkway in a middle-class residential area. The homeowner had covered her with a tarp in the early morning hours to prevent the neighborhood children from viewing her on the way to school. Leisure marks had been around her neck, wrist, and ankles, and indicating to police that she was bound and strangled. The body had been dumped and indicated she was killed elsewhere. Detective, got to get this name right again. And another thing, I'm gonna horribly butcher names, except for like really common ones. I am not good at names.
Salerno.
Salerno. There we go. Also found a small piece of light colored fluff on her eyelids and saved it for forensics experts. A coroner reported the fuller details that she had been SA'd and sodomized, which we can't say which sodomized. Okay. The girl was described as being a small, thin, weighing about 90 pounds and appeared to be about 16 years old, and was eventually identified as a 15-year-old Judith Lee Miller, a former student at Hollywood High School. After dropping out, Miller was a runaway, and she had a short time as a SW worker and dancing around words. That's all I'm gonna have to say. Miller was was last seen alive on Halloween, October 31st, 1977, talking to a man driving a large two-tone sedan on Sunset Boulevard next to cannery. The strangers had told her that they were undercover police officers, handcuffed her, and took her to Bono's Auto Upholstery shop on 703 East Colorado Street in Glendale, where she was eventually murdered. Lisa Casting, 5 days later, on November 6, 1977, the nude body of another woman was discovered near the Chevy Chase Country Club. He has a country club? Wow. Okay. Anyways, I'm surprised Chevy Chase has a country club in 1977. In Glendale, like Miller, her body bore 5 points: neck, wrist, and ankles. Necks, wrist, and ankles. Okay, that's 5 points. Yeah. Sorry, I was trying to calculate three names for 5 things: 2 arms, 2 legs, and neck. Leisure marks, and showed signs of having been strangled and brutally SA'd, but not sodomized. The woman was identified as 20-year-old waitress Elisa Teresa, Lisa Carson, who was last seen leaving the restaurant where she worked the night before her body was discovered. In addition to working full-time, Casson was also a professional dancer, an all-female dance cabaret troupe, and the L.A. Knockers. And usually, unlike the previous 2 victims, was not a prostitute, drug users, or runaway. The Stranglers followed Caston after she had been driven home. She had driving She'd driven home from work, pulled her over at the street, and she lived on producing a faked police badge and told her they were detectives. They were then handcuffing her and told her that they needed to take her in for questioning. At some point in the early November 1977, the two men approached 24-year-old Catherine Lee Baker, daughter of actor Peter Lorre, famous for his role in the serial killer and Fritz Lang film M. With the initial abducting and killing her, however, when Laura produced not only her driver's license when requested, but also a picture of her sitting next to her father's lap as a child, the two let her go without incident, fearing the murder of a celebrity child would attract the unusual high amount of police and pressure. Oh, okay. The reason why I got this case was because of this. This instance right here. They let Baker go, and she found out later on that she recognized the two men. Lori did not realize who the two men were in until they were arrested, at which point she recalled the two men flashing LA police badges as she approached her in the past. So she still remembered him. You know, it was just that little detail that got me onto this one. So on Sunday, November 13th, 1977, two girls, 12-year-olds Dolores and Dolly and 14-year-old Sonia Marie Johnson boarded an RTD bus, which RTD is a rapid transit district for Southern California at the time, in front of the Eagle Rock Plaza. On Colorado Boulevard and headed home. The last time they were seen was getting off the bus and going on to York Boulevard and North Avenue 46 and approaching a two-tone sedan that reported the two men once inside. There, two corpses were discovered by a 9-year-old boy who was a treasure hunting in the trash heap, dumpster diving, on the hillside near Dodger Stadium on November 20th, 1977. Both the girls' bodies had been already begun to decompose. It was determined that they had been strangled and SA'd. Kristen Weckler. Is it Reckler? Reckler. Okay. Early that day, November 20th, 1977, hikers found the naked body of 20-year-old Kristen Weckler, a quiet, unassuming honor student at Art Center College of Design, describing by detectives Bob Gorey of the Los Angeles Police Department as loving and seriously young who should have had a bright future ahead of her. Reckler was discovered on the hillside between Glendale and Eagle Rock. When found by Detective Goran, the typical leisure marks were on her wrist, ankles, and neck, and he turned her over. Bruises were observed on her breast, and blood oozed from her. We're going to keep that because I can't say that on YouTube. Unlike the first three victims, there were 2 puncture marks on her arm, both no signs of needle track marks that indicated drug addiction. It was later determined that Reckler had been injected with Windex, a common ammonia-based window glass cleaner and surface cleaner. Now, Evelyn Jane King, on November 23rd, 1977, a badly decomposed body of 28-year-old Evelyn Jane King, an aspiring actress who had gone missing on November 9th and was discovered in the bushes near the Los Frailes Boulevard off-ramp on Golden State Freeway. The surveyors of the decomposing previous determined as to whether she had been SA'd or tortured, but she had been strangled like the others. In response, the authorities created a task force, initially composing of 30 officers from LAPD, the Sheriff's Department, and Glendale Police Department to catch the predator, now dubbed the Hillside Strangler. Now, the last 3, Lauren Wagner. That's the Wagner. Okay. Sorry. This is the reason why I had so much hard time with two of those names. I know there was one named Ragnar, but okay. Anyways, sorry, I digress. On November 29th, 1977, police found the body of 18-year-old Lauren Ray Wagner, a business student who lived with her parents in San Fernando Valley in the hills around Los Angeles Mountain, Washington. She had leisure marks around her neck, ankles, and wrists like all the others. There were also burn marks on her hand, indicating she was tortured. Loran's parents had expected her to come home before midnight. And the next morning, when they found her car parked across the street and the door ajar, her father questioned the neighbors. He found the woman who lived in the house where Lauren's car had been parked, saw her abducted. This woman stated that she saw two men. One was tall and young, and the other was older and shorter with bushy hair. She also stated that she heard Wagner cry out, "You won't get away with this," during her abduction. And now Kimberly Martin, November 14th, 1977, the naked body of 17-year-old prostitute Kimberly Dane Martin, which was shown signs of torture, was found in a deserted lot near Los Angeles City Hall. Martin had previously joined a call girl agency because she feared exposing herself on the street with a strangler on the loose. The killers happened to place a call to her agency and the Hollywood Public Library payphone. She was the call girl who was dispatched. When the police investigated the apartment she had been dispatched to, they found it vacant and broken into. Now, Cindy Hutspin, the body of the final Hillside Strangler victim, was discovered in Los Angeles on February 17th, 1978, when a helicopter pilot spotted an orange Datsun. Datsun? Datsun. Apparently, it's a Japanese automotive brand owned by Nissan now. Abandoned midway down a cliff in the Angels Crest Highway. Police responded to the scene and discovered the nude body of the car owner, 20-year-old Cynthia Lee Hutspin, a student and part-time waitress. Inside the trunk, her corpse again showed leisure marks, and she had been essayed and tortured. She was strangled and her body placed in the trunk, which then pushed off the cliff. Hutspin's murder was initially been unplanned. Balanchi had arrived at Bruno's upholstery shop at a closing time on February 16th to discover Hutspin in the company of Bruno. Discussing upholstery work she had wished him to perform on her car. The two men had a private discussion, opting to make her the next victim. Now, in January 1979, after intense investigation, police charged Balanchi and Bruno with the crimes. Balanchi had fled to Bellingham, Washington, where he soon was arrested by the Bellingham Police Department for sexual assault and murdering two women he had lured to his home for a house-sitting job. Balanchi attempted to set up an insanity defense, claiming that he was a dissociated identity disorder. Say that 5 times fast. Which is basically multiple personality, MPD, and that personally separated himself from committing the murders. Courtside scholars, notably Dr. Martin Orn, observed Balanchi and found that he was faking it. So Balanchi agreed plea deal and testified against Bruno in exchange for latency. At the conclusion of the Bruno's trial in 1983, President Judge Ronald M. George, who later became Chief Justice of the California Supreme Court, stated during the sentencing, "I will not have the slightest reluctance to imposing the death penalty in this case where it within my power to do so." Ironically, the two defendants utilized almost every form of legislation to execution against their victims. The defense had escaped any form of capital punishment. Blanchi is serving a life sentence in Washington State Penitentiary in Walla Walla. Bruno died of a heart attack on September 21st, 2002 at Stephanie Hawking. Help me with this one.
Calipatria.
Calipatria State Prison in California, where he was serving a life sentence. Now, in 1980, the Blanchi began a relationship with Victoria Captain. During his trial, she testified for the defense. While incarcerated, Blanchi had smuggled I hate reading this and I forget stuff. This is how bad I am. While incarcerated, Blanchi had smuggled a semen-filled condom to her in the spine of a book so she could use it to stage a rape murder committed by the Hillside Strangler. She was later convicted and imprisoned for attempting to strangle a woman who had lured to a motel in an attempt to have authorities believe that the Hillside Strangler was still on the loose and the wrong man was imprisoned. She was released in 2003. What's really funny about that is I wonder if it was his semen that he gave her. So he would be still be blamed, but it'd still be weird. Now, another thing that the main reason why they got caught, and this is just strange, okay? One unusual twist in his investigation was the arrival in LA was a psychic from Berlin. Detective Bob Gorgon was polite but unenthusiastic when the psychic wrote in German that they should be looking for two Italians who were brothers, age about 35. It was intentionally believed that only one person was responsible for the killings. The police, however, determined from the position of the bodies that two criminals were working together. But within that information from the, but they held that information from the press, and the prosecutors were eventually discovered to be cousins, and who were later convicted of kidnapping, essaying, torturing, and murdering 10 women and girls ranging from 12 to 28. So it's that one thing that got me on this was the psychic. I really, okay. I believe but don't believe. There's too many people out there that more or less like to fake all this stuff, and you don't get the realism that there might be stuff that's more supernatural in origin on a lot of stuff. Some people are more in tuned to things than others. There's not enough evidence, but sometimes you just got to go with the most plausible option and say maybe they were found out by psychic. So the details of this, if it's real, it was, I mean, other than the brothers thing, but the psychic did get a lot of things in there that was almost, dead on. I mean, it's one of those things that they would have to be like right there. They knew exactly what XYZ was. But other than that, everybody, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. I hate to say this, like, subscribe. We're trying, hopefully next year we get monetized. And I don't have to say that anymore. But if you guys, help us out, we can keep on doing this content. Some of you like it, some of you don't like it. We still do the nerd sports. We're still doing what the hell. It's just very sporadic with a lot of the stuff. But again, everyone that actually likes our stuff, comments on our stuff, that we honestly appreciate it. We love doing this. We love just, conversation with people around the world. We're just people like that, me, Johnny, and Chris. And I guess Colin now, he's more of a staple now. But again, thank you all. I mean, I imagine myself just doing this for a little while and ended up like going really deep in it. And I really do love it. Just some of the stuff that, I end up figuring out on like psychosociopath stuff, and the stuff that's in the news. I don't want to be that person that's jamming the stuff on into your head. I just want to be more or less informative, and hopefully you find the information entertaining. I'm not an entertainer. I'm reading this off, but I just really like doing this, and I enjoy everybody that comments and everything. And it's very nice that we have this platform, and hopefully a lot of the stuff that gets out there to everybody else, and we end up, seeing people that are actually loves our stuff. And I just really like doing this. It's more of a hobby. And if I see people that enjoy it too, I am more gracious. I have only like 1 or 2 people that actually listen to stuff and like, I can't believe I know you. Not like, that. It's like, I can't believe I know you and you're still doing this ridiculous stuff. I'm like, yeah, but I like it. Not, yeah, I don't get the, I don't get the, like the fandom. I get the, why are you still doing it? I mean, it's entertaining, but and I also get people that really want to help out. That's another thing that I ever gave me a list for last week's one. I picked one from the Hillside Axe murders. I can't even pronounce it. That name for some godly reason was so hard for me. But he's a neighbor. He loves the stuff. He likes helping out. That's the thing about doing stuff like that. You find out there are people that are willing to and love to help out, even if it's just, hey, try this person if you haven't done them yet, and comment on that. I'll gladly do it. I find a lot of this stuff interesting, and I love putting it out there, and hope you find it entertaining. There's a lot of stuff. I mean, even like right now, and we'll do a repeat that the Menendez brothers are getting out. Maybe it's not for sure yet, but maybe. And I still think they did come up. They did come up a bad situation, but I still think they shouldn't. They should have just went through the lawyers and everything like that. But anyways, thank you all for listening. Thank you all for watching.